All right, here we go. Page 2 of the exam review. That rhymed. This next three problems are very similar to what you did on the previous page. On the exam, you're not necessarily going to have to do it necessarily in this form, but it is just more review as to why we say the things we do, the equations that we say. For this problem, it wants me to write an equation or inequality. Inequalities are these shaded ones, so that's an inequality, that's an inequality. This is just an equation, so that has an equal sign, y equals. And really, if you remember mx plus b, b is the y-intercept, which is right there, so it's got to be minus 4. There's an x in there, and the m is your slope, which is down 1 over 2. Well, down 1 over 2 is negative 1/2, and that's it. That's the equation for that one. Similarly, on the next one, this is an inequality, so I'm going to put a y here, I'm going to put x here, I'm going to put my y-intercept, which is negative 2. Check out my slope is up 2 and over 1. It does it over and over again. Up 2 over 1 is otherwise known as just 2, right? 2 over 1 equals 2. Now I got to figure out my sign. We did not really touch on this very much, so don't stress out about this problem. But if I plug in 0 and 0 here, I get 0 is negative 2, and what I want is this to be a false statement, because I'm not shading towards 0, I'm shading away. So for it to be a false statement, I'd have to write it like that, and because it's solid, it would have to have that kind of sign, so I can just drop that in there, and I got my solution. Again, don't freak out about that. You should be able to recognize that if I give you this, that you could graph this. That's something you should be able to do. If I plug in 0, 0, it wouldn't work, so I would shade towards it, or away from it, not towards it. Similarly here, this goes through the y-axis, so it's y equals, well, not in this case because there's shading, but it is going to have a greater than or equal to sign, or a less than or equal to sign because it's solid. And it's going, let's see, this is going through 4. And now I'm going to say, put in the 0 trick. I need this to be a false statement because I need it to not be shaded towards 0, 0. That's how it works. And y is, which makes sense, it's shaded with y's that are greater than 4, right? All right, next. Systems. Systems are a matter of plug it in, okay? So like, what do you think I do at 26? Yes, I take y, what y equals, and I plug it in. So I got 3x plus 2x minus 7 equals 3. The reason I put a parentheses there is because if there's a 2 there, I'd put a 2 here and I'd have to distribute that first. But in this case, it's really just a 1, and when I distribute a 1, well, that would make the parentheses go away. Then, of course, I would combine like terms and solve it like problems I know how to solve. 5x equals 10, divide by 5 to get x equals 2. And then what do I do with the 2? Go back. Plug it in. Yeah, there it is. So I plug it in, and right there to x, or even right there, if I plug it in there, I get 6. I minus it to get negative 3. That's the answer. Or, excuse me. What happened? Yeah. I get 6. I minus it over here. I get negative 3. Same thing here. If I plug 2 in there, I get 2 times 2, minus 7, and 4 minus 7 is, of course, negative 3. I don't need you to write it as a point. If you want to, you could write the point 2, negative 3. That's actually the answer, but it's all good if you just keep it like this. This is, guess what? Plug it in. So plug in all of what y is for y, which really just means set them equal to each other. And solve them like we know how to solve problems, like we did on the first page. I like to make my x positive, so I'm going to bring that to this side, which means I got to do the opposite of this number. And I got 4x equals 16, divide to get x equals 4. Plug it in. Again, plug it in, plug it in, plug it in. Into here, I get negative 8 minus that is negative 19. I'm just going to check it. If I plug it in here, I get negative 24 plus 5, which is also negative 19. There's that answer. This last one, I got to get something to cancel here, and the one on the exam is not this hard, but in this one, we're going to have to multiply both lines. Usually, you just have to multiply one line. I shouldn't say usually in long-term mathematics, but for what I'm going to make you do, that's about it. I'm going to multiply this line by 2 and this line by 3, and then I can get 6 and negative 6 to cancel. So I'm going to rewrite these as over here as 6x minus 10y equals 4, negative 6x plus 12y equals negative 18. The x's cancel. 2y equals negative 14. So there's y equal -7. Then I plug that into either here or here, doesn't matter. I'm just going to plug it into the first one because that's usually what I would do. Like so. This, of course, is 35 minus you know how to do this. Use a calculator. Please don't tell me this is 37. And there we go. On to the last two on this page here. Graphing these is literally a matter of graphing the y-intercept like we were talking about on the previous page. Graph the y-intercept, or on the top of this page I should say, and use the slope, which is down 2 over 1. So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Then I can of course go the other way, up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1. I'm just going to draw that line in, stay on that here. Kind of messes with your eyes a little bit if you don't draw more points, but it is what it is. I'm going to draw my other line in here with the y-intercept at +2 and slope it up 4 over 1. Right, when it's a whole number, so I'm going to go down 4 over 1. Oh, there's my solution. That worked out real nice. Right there, where they cross, is the solution. This is, I know, from 6.1 from way back at the beginning of the year, probably the last week of August, maybe August 29 or so. And I get the point -1, -2. Now, of course, that's solution, because if I plug -1 in here, I get 2 minus 4, which is -2. If I plug -1 in here, I get -4 plus 2, which is -2. Works. All right, same thing on the next problem. It's going to be almost the same problem. +5 is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Down 4 over 1. Do that a couple times here. Connect my dots. -2, and then up 3. There's my winner right there already. Which is the point 1, 1. And again, I can plug it in to check it. If I plug 1 in there, I get 1. If I plug 1 in there, I get 1. Works out. Okay. That's it for this page. That's a short one, 740. See you on the next page.